Today on Monkey Life, Operation Siamang. The team formulate a plan to move Sam and Sasak back across the park to their newly renovated home.
We've got a bigger crate, which we're hoping will be a lot less stressful for them.
A medical emergency at the Guenon house means a tough call for the team.
If we don't do anything, we're going to lose it. If we do something, we might.
And baby woolly monkey Lloyd tests out his climbing skills while Mum Zingu watches on. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Boxes secured into place, everything's good.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. It's a cloudy, wet start to the day, but for the gibbon team, it's all systems go. Siamangs Sam and Sasak are about to move back from their temporary accommodation at the main gibbon house to their home at the support building.
Perhaps not ideal weather conditions for it, but fingers crossed that it's got to be done rather sooner than later. So, yeah, fingers crossed they do it.
The bedrooms and playrooms have been completely renovated and transformed. And work is also well underway on the pair's outdoor enclosure too. They'll have plenty of time to enjoy their new indoor surroundings until they can be let back out into the trees. The team have come up with a different plan for moving the pair of Siamangs after they both became stressed when they were moved individually to their temporary home. The team want to avoid this happening again.
We've got a bigger crate that actually fits chimps usually, so that they can both come in at the same time and then travel together, which we're hoping will be a lot less stressful for them.
The staff have been crate training the pair together for the last month, and today it pays off.
Secure?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sam and Sasak are both in the box, and the team makes sure it's safe and secure for the short journey back to their old home.
Yeah, lead check mark, locks on the top. Everything's fine, they're both in there.
Oh, that's the other thing, they're both in there.
Everyone got it?
Yeah.
Manoeuvring the heavy crate from the main gibbon house isn't easy. It's normally used for transporting larger primates. The team do their best to make it as smooth as possible to limit the Siamang's stress. It's a good result. It takes less than 20 minutes for the pair to be crated and returned to their home at the support building.
They came into the crate perfectly well. Now it's just lining the crate up with the slide, and hopefully they'll go straight in.
Before I open up, are we happy it's all secure inside?
Correct, they've only got access to the playroom at this point.
Everything's in place. Time to open up.
Oh no, that's good. Yeah, that can just come
I
out.
think they're very eager. 1, 2. Boom. Done.
It's been a textbook operation, and the Siamangs are soon exploring their new playroom. And what a difference they've come home to. It's been totally revamped with the wooden poles replaced by natural trees and branching, giving the pair more options to move around. Golden-cheeked gibbons Peanut and Peng Yo, who live in the other side of the house, are close by to see their housemates return. Sarah is pleased with how well the move has gone.
They're doing really well, actually. The playroom's finished, the bedroom's finished, so they've got a nice new facility to come into. They've got time to get used to it because the enclosure's not quite finished yet. There's still a bit of maintenance work to be done there, so it's ideal time for them to get used to the new surroundings, and I'll keep coming to check on them periodically just to make sure that they are calm.
Hopefully, it won't be long before all the work is completed, and Sam and Sasak can also return to their wonderful outdoor forest enclosure and swing through the trees once more. There's a medical emergency at the park. Local vet David Holler has been called in to examine one of Monkey World's youngest primates, 4-year-old guenon Nala. For the past week, the normally bouncy Nala has been off her food and very quiet. The primate care staff, in consultation with vet David, have been closely monitoring her, and she's been given antibiotics to counter any possible infection, along with plenty of fluids. But she hasn't responded, and in the last 24 hours, Nala's condition has worsened.
We need to do some more now. We need to get some blood, see where we are. So there was a potential of a kidney infection, of which we started treatment for anyway. But yeah, we need to have a look today before she deteriorates even more.
The primate care staff have managed to catch Nala and place her safely in a transport box. They've just arrived at the park's hospital, where, following her rapid deterioration and failure to respond to medication, David fears his only option may be to open her up.
We've got to make a decision somewhere, haven't we?
Unless you've got any other ideas?
If we don't do anything, we're going to lose her. If we do something, we might. But at least we've lost her trying something.
The decision is made, and Nala is knocked out with anaesthetic gas. Once she's stable, David begins his initial examination and straight away finds an issue.
You feel something?
There's a lump in her abdomen, which could be the cause of her condition. But something else is wrong too.
She feels cold to me.
Nala has gone into shock and her body is shutting down. The team wrap her in blankets and bubble wrap and place her on a heat pad. Gradually, her temperature starts to rise.
We okay? She's still breathing all right?
If Nala is to survive, there's only one option. David has to operate. As a worried team look on, he makes a small incision in her abdomen, then gently searches through her abdominal cavity to see if he can find a blockage.
SpO2 98, 64 heart.
He carefully checks along her intestines until he finds the mass.
She's actually quite solid, yeah.
Is that what you felt?
Yeah. But it's going further on into something even firmer in here.
There's a blockage between the large and small intestine, and there's no movement in Nala's gut.
And it's basically filled up and bunged up near the acecal junction. You can't just take that part of the gut out.
He can't cut out the affected part of the intestine, so he tries to manipulate the blockage instead.
Is there any way of clearing that junction from...
Well, what I'm trying to do is just take tiny little bits and milk it through the acecal junction and see if we can just get it all to go into the colon.
David carefully breaks up the mass in the hope Nala will be able to pass the lumps in feces when she comes round. The team will give her medication to aid the process. There's no obvious reason why the blockage occurred, and David has done all he currently can. He stitches up the wound before Nala is placed into the travel crate and kept warm while she comes round.
Having opened her up, found that there was some very, very firm faeces stuck in the ileocecal junction, so the junction between essentially the small and the large intestine. Fortunately, I was able just to milk it all through into the large intestine, clear the obstruction through. So hopefully now she'll pass that naturally, and we haven't had to cut into her intestines. Which hopefully means we'll have a smoother, quicker recovery from this. But she's going to be on the watch list for a good few days yet. So.
But 10 minutes later, Nala goes into shock once more.
It's changed slowly, she's gone.
She's stopped breathing, and there's nothing David can do. A devastated team can't believe it's happened so quickly.
You do everything you could, David.
Unfortunately, halfway through recovery from the anaesthesia, Nala's just passed away. It was all a bit too much for her. There was a high chance that she was toxic already, and that things were ahead of us, and she was doing that thing that primates do, which is fighting on and not telling us quite how unwell she was.
It's a distressing blow for the staff. But their main concern now is how will Nala's family react to their daughter and sibling not coming home. It's been a month since Patas monkey Penelope had her second round of serious dental surgery. All of her remaining teeth were rotten and had to be extracted. Following their removal, she was given pain relief and antibiotics to aid her recovery. Her gums have now started to harden up, but the surgery has meant a rethink of her diet for the primate care staff, as well as considering how to present her meals in future. Softer foods are now the order of the day.
We've even got raspberry yogurt to try.
Wow, I'm sure she's going to love that.
Penelope's partner, Mr. P, can be a bit overbearing when it comes to food, so the team have come up with a plan to distract him while she's eating.
This is just to keep Mr. Patas busy. So he is our big dominant male Patas monkey, so if there is anything nice going towards Penelope, he will come over and try to take it away. So this is just a mixture of baby rice and water, so it's just something a bit different from their normal diet to keep them a bit excited and to come over and show a bit of interest.
Lovely.
Thank you very much.
Finn hangs Mr. P's food on the opposite side of the enclosure from Elle, who's about to try and tempt Penelope to join her. The plan works. The greedy male focuses on the rice treat straight away.
So we can spend some quality time feeding Penelope, because, like Finn said, he's a massively dominant animal, and whenever food's around, he doesn't mess about, and it's all his and not Penelope's. And for a female that needs food in her old geriatric stage, it's really important that we get that food to her.
At first, Penelope's reluctant to cooperate.
Penelope, do you want some avo? Got some tagliatelle. Gonna come have a look?
But Elle's persistence pays off, and Penelope eventually joins her on the other side of the enclosure to peruse the menu.
Just the girl we want. Oh, good job.
There's plenty of choice. Cooked sweet potato and pepper, spaghetti and avocado, a particular favourite and very healthy.
Obviously, she's got no teeth in her mouth whatsoever, so she's going to find it quite difficult to eat the normal food sources that we do give to these guys. As time goes on, the gums would, stiffen up, harden up, and then it would make it easier for her to try harder foods. She's never going to be able to eat an apple, but definitely try and attempt to eat some of the softer sides of food. She does love her avocado.
Penelope no longer experiences the pain her infected teeth caused when eating and appears a lot happier.
Yeah, she's loving it. Mr. P's occupied out back, which is great. Penelope's got the first dibs of all of her extras. And you'll probably see she doesn't mess around. She gets it in very quick.
Penelope is an old lady and has other medical issues, which may have a serious impact on her quality of life in the future. But the team are doing all they can to make sure her remaining years are as comfortable and rewarding as possible. The outside temperature at the park has begun to drop, and some of the primates have started to cozy up and spend time indoors. It means the primate care staff need to come up with ideas to keep their charges busy and active in their playrooms. At the Capuchin Lodge, the team have collected up bags of leaves from around the park. Primate care staff member Katie is spreading them all over the floor of the indoor playroom and then concealing grubs, insects and other food amongst them.
This is the first time we've put all these big leaves in this year. We do try and do it for them on a regular basis over the winter because it is nice. But yeah, this is the first time they've had big piles of leaves for a long time. So yeah, hopefully they'll enjoy it.
There have been some changes at the lodge recently. A few months ago, Sonny left the group and Franco took over as leader. The troop have also had to contend with limited outdoor access, restricted to the caged enclosure. That's because recent storms damaged the main forest enclosure, which now needs serious repair and renovation.
At the moment, the group is split just because we've got a lot less space without the forest enclosure. So we've kind of kept the group in separate areas just to keep the harmony a little bit. So we're going to get the group of females in here who we call the low rankers, like Mushroom, Cecilia. And we've got our oldest Capuchin, Dot. She's going to be coming in here today, along with Lizzie. So yeah, there's quite a few of the maybe less familiar faces who will be coming in today.
Along with the low-ranking girls will be top man Franco and one of the older boys, second in command Bruce. Once all the slides are open, the troop pile in, with Bruce leading the way. Capuchins love to forage, and the piles of leaves will put their skills to the test. Along with the mealworms added by Katie, there should be lots of natural grubs and earthworms for them to find. And Jenny is one of the first to be rewarded. Without competition from the more dominant girls, the low rankers are able to get stuck in. Lizzie brushes straw and leaves aside to reveal the mealworms on the floor, while Babs burrows into the leaf pile in search of food, foraging as she might in the wild. Dot has to take her time hunting the well-camouflaged food source. It takes good concentration and hand-eye coordination, and she's getting on in years. The two boys have very different techniques. Bruce is systematic in his approach, while leader Franco is like a bull in a china shop. He's the biggest and strongest in the group, and the girls are coming to accept him as their new dominant male.
For the most part, the girls seem to quite like him. He has a bit of a better idea about what it's like to be a dominant male compared to Sonny. Sonny was kind of more dominant by default because there weren't any other males that fit the bill, whereas Franco has led a group quite well before. So yeah, I think some of the girls are quite happy to have a male who knows what he's doing.
The indoor leaf carpet will stay in place for several days, allowing the Capuchins to happily forage for hours on end, just like they would in the wild. It's nearly 4 months since the park welcomed a surprise baby woolly monkey they named Lloyd. His mum, Zingu, has once again proved excellent at bringing up her infant, and he's thriving in Lavar's group, growing up alongside his brothers, a half-sister, and other extended family members.
True to character, they're all just a bundle of fun. Levi in particular is really enjoying little brother, and he's kind of encouraged him to kind of play off her a little bit, and we're seeing him becoming quite independent, which again is pretty standard for Zingu babies. She's so laid back and just kind of lets him explore a little bit, isn't too panicked. So yeah, he's thriving so far.
At 4 months old, Lloyd is still reliant on his mum. Zingu carries him from A to B, and he's dependent on her for milk. But he's also starting to try solids, testing different items, and watching and learning from his family how they eat and process food. There are plenty of role models for him in this group. Along with Zingu, there's his dad Levar. He's the oldest woolly in captivity in the world, and as a father to 12 babies, he's a very experienced dad. Then there are his older brothers, 4-year-old Leroy and Levi, who's just 2. The siblings are paying a lot of attention to their new brother and starting to engage him in play sessions.
Now that he's getting a little bit older and starting to climb off a bit, that he's become the fun little thing to play with, and obviously Zingu keeps an eye to make sure they're not too rough with him. But yeah, he learns everything from his group. That's why it's so important that these animals are sort of nurtured and develop within their families, because that you can't teach that to them. They can only learn that from their families. So yeah, he's watching Zingu. But being a little boy, he needs to learn a lot from the males in the group as well. So his dad is, again, he's an elderly boy, but he's been around a lot, so he can learn a lot about how to mature properly around him. And then, yeah, having 2 big brothers, plus 2 other adult males in the group, so he's got a lot of role models, basically. We just have to hope he chooses the right ones to take after.
Recently, Lloyd has been spending some time off Mum, exploring the enclosure and learning how to climb. Today, he's found the perfect structure to practice on and hone his skills. Mum Zingu is never far away and keeps a watchful eye, but Lloyd is never too high off the ground to cause her to worry. And he's also started to use the 5th limb all woolly monkeys have, their long, strong, prehensile tail.
That just gives them the freedom to forage, so when they're up in the trees, that tail is always hanging on, and it's a natural thing with our guys as well. When they're moving along the mesh, anywhere they go in, the tail is always trying to hang on, and we see that from birth. So that tail, as soon as they're born, is always still gripping on something, often wrapped around mum's tail as well. So yeah, it's almost got a life of its own.
So far, so good for this little woolly, and with the support of his close-knit family around him, he has a bright and fun-filled future ahead. Next time on Monkey Life. In Vietnam, it's a race against time to reach 2 rescued baby silvered langurs for sister sanctuary Dao Tien.
They're not pets. They should be in the wild, in their family groups, in the forest. That's where they belong.
And Siamangs Sam and Sasak are back swinging through the trees once more.